This is the Superpowered Mind podcast for inquiring individuals who are tired of the struggle for peace, happiness, and clarity. I'm Claire Diamond, ready to help you explore the principles of the mind, the self, and reality to unlock ultimate mental freedom. This podcast is the one to listen to if you're ready to experience the capabilities of the superpowered mind. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our podcast. And today we're looking at the direct path. So the direct path is a spiritual approach which considers that the whole of content of experience is a creation of the mind. And for the mind to be in truth, for it to settle, for it to align to what's real, it should turn away from that content to what lies behind all of the experience of being. So what enables and what creates that content, what allows for the experience of existence is consciousness, intelligence, aliveness, beingness, love. And so the direct path says, go directly there. That's all that's true. There's nothing else. That's it. So it directs the mind, it directs the attention, it directs logic to say, why waste time in the content when everything that is being looked for is behind the content? It's prior to thought, prior to belief, prior to conditioning. It's the infinite and absolute that is what the mind, what the separate identity is searching for. It is the wholeness that is being looked for. It is the peace. And so go there immediately. Why would we not? The direct path is completely solid. It's grounded and it's true. It's irrefutable. It's totally reliable. It's sane. It really is a mind that is shifting out of the ever-changing story, the ever-changing film of being, directly to the screen on which it's projected. Awesome. Awesome. What's not to love about that? The only thing is that the mind is still operating in a world, isn't it? So that is true. We could have the most huge realization about the truth of that. And at the same time, the mind, the brain, the body wake up, in the morning, in the same bedroom, with the same partner, with the same family, with the same bills, the same job, the same body, the same kids, the same obligations, the same responsibilities. Those don't go away. And this, I think, is where it gets so interesting for us, is that now what? Really, now what? So if the only truth is what is prior to the mind's creations, the mind's meaning making, the mind's responses, what now with this reality? And I've had a lot of clients in the past who have used the direct path as a way of exiting reality. When it gets hard, when reality brings up emotions, when we're confronted, when we're rejected or we're scared, we want to do something but we don't know how it's going to be received, we're feeling vulnerable. And so the direct path is like a mental device which allows for an exit from that turmoil. And it's very powerful because we can't argue with the direct path, because it's totally sane in one way. Using it to escape, really, when things get tough in daily life is very viable and really the easiest option, I would say. The problem, though, is that because the stresses and the confrontation and the fear, need, shame, insecurity that is arising in daily life, because that is an ongoing factor of the conditioning, it's coming from the subconscious belief system. So that is not changing when we escape. It's still there because there isn't any new information really. And so a mind escaping by saying, oh, there's no one here, there's no other, there's nothing to do, I'm peace, I'm love. And so it's like a mental checkout to numb the fullness of the emotional experience that's going on. And that, for me, is the huge problem with spirituality, with the teachings of the direct path. Because when the direct path is so resonant and so embodied, when it becomes such an enormous truth that it literally rewires the whole system, it changes every cell, it shifts the entire subconscious platform that is generating this experience of being, because it's so enormously understood. When that happens, there is a corresponding enormous change in everyday life. So that vulnerable identity, that separate ego mind that was previously running the show, that was doing everything to protect itself, that was trying to find wholeness through a totally unquestioned conviction of separation. When the realization of the direct path is so profound, that ego mind ceases to operate in the same way. So the mirror reality, which, the ego mind and the reality are both made of the same conditioning, when that egoic separate mind is just not believed anymore, the reality must change as well. And so attention then can be in a reality which is no longer a projection of believed separation. It's no longer a projection of all the fear, need, shame, and insecurity that have been built into the belief system. So reality profoundly changes. And that is when the direct path is really the direct path. There's no escape in there because there's nothing to escape from. There is no confrontation then. And what is interesting then, I think, is when the attention continually moves deeper into the world to see what's true, to see what the possibilities are within the world. Attention is really moving as loving problem solving, really, I would say. Deeper into the world, there's nothing to be protected from. There's nothing to protect. It's just intelligence, just awareness, love moving into the world. When it's an escape, it means that there is still that same level of confrontation, same level of defense and protectiveness, same level of vulnerability. But now we've got a spiritually endorsed, very legitimate means to deny it. It's here, but we're denying it. And that is so, so different from it's just not here anymore. So, for example, it might be that we've had a long-standing issue, say, with our sibling. And it causes us a lot of hurt. We meet up with them at family events and they're saying things and we feel hurt. We feel like we're being put down by them. We feel like the preference that our parents always showed for that sibling over us is always hanging around, lurking in the shadows. And when the direct path is truly realized, there is nothing to protect in that interaction. There's no physical danger. And so without a sense of separation, with the recognition that there's a body, but that body is being run by conditioning, just the same as this body. What's prior to all of that thought and belief is what we are: love, consciousness, intelligence, beingness, no separation. There is no other. There genuinely is no other. There is no sibling in the way they used to appear. And so through the direct path realization, there's only love. There is no distance. There's no separation. And it doesn't matter now what the sibling is saying. It can be just, well, is that true, what they're saying? Is there some information in that, what they're saying? What do they want? What are they asking for? Without anything to protect, there's just a mind that is fully engaged, fully open, fully listening to what is going on in this interaction. And equally, a mind that is able to say no, that is able to disagree, but without that survival motivation, it's gone. So the direct path has transformed the relationship with the sibling, has transformed everything about the way the self and the other appear. It's completely dissolved. That old, from childhood, pattern of interacting has completely disappeared, because the direct path realization has shifted everything, subconsciously, consciously, mind, brain, body, it's all shifted. But when that hasn't happened and the direct path is understood at a sort of surface level, and so the sibling is there, we meet up for family lunch and the sibling's making little digs about our kids or our house or our way of being, and it's like crunch within us, like that old familiar tension, that hostility, that anger. And it's horrible to feel that, isn't it? We feel, victimized, we feel separate, we're trying desperately to find wholeness. But because nothing has actually changed in the subconscious mind, in the body, in the brain, nothing's changed. The direct path now is like a way of pushing them away. There is no other, we might say to ourselves. There is no self, there is no other. This content of experience isn't true. Nothing's reliable apart from awareness, apart from intelligence. And so the mind, in order to protect the identity, is trying to undermine an appearance of things that look so real that the emotional experience of it is happening. And that is problematic because it's a way of withdrawing attention from reality. It's a way of closing up the drawbridge. And all it does is further solidify that sense of separation. There's me here, there's them over there, they're like that, I'm like this. But to escape the pain of that interaction, I'm going to tell myself they don't exist. It's very false. Innocently false. It's the best that we've got, isn't it, in those moments? But it's not healthy. It's really not healthy for the system. And so this is why I insistent all the time, well, for myself as much as I'm able to, and for the people that I work with, that this exploration is carried out in the world. It's not an ivory tower. It's not a way of saying I'm better than them because I'm spiritual, I know more. It's a way to expand the capacity to move deeper in to the areas of life that look existentially problematic, dangerous. That's healthy, because as attention moves deeper in from the questioning, so what is real here? The direct path is saying, There is only consciousness, there's only intelligence. Yet here I am with this mortgage to pay, with these problems with my boss, with these clients that aren't signing up to my programs, with this weight problem or with this health issue. What is that all about? It looks so real and it's confronting, and there's fear and need and insecurity and lack in the heart of it. What is going on here? So attention moving into these problems from inquiry to see what is actually true, and in doing so, expanding the emotional capacity to have that feeling of vulnerability and tension and confrontation. That is the most healthy spirituality that we can ever practice, ever. Because there's nothing being protected in that. There's more and more possibility to have the emotions that really are at the heart of this separate identity. And at the same time, this intelligent, inquiring mind is moving into these areas of confrontation to see what's true. And in that process, anything that isn't true will fall away. So it's a direct path in action. In the midst of the confrontation, the direct path is being revealed. This is not an egoic practice because the identity is being truly confronted in doing this. It's not a means of withdrawing. It's not a way to protect anything. It's brave. It takes courage. It takes humbleness. It takes honesty. And there is no sense of superiority in it. There's no hope that this practice is making me different from anyone else, because this is all about moving into the areas where there's most to be revealed. Most to be revealed about no doer, no chooser, just responses happening, behavior happening. And yet it's total accountability for everything, for the way that everything is appearing. And attention moving into that is absolutely revelatory. So just to conclude, it's why I love the question, what do you want? So much. It's because what do I want has an honesty to it, an authenticity to it, and it sends the attention into the world. And that's not easy. It's not easy. It's not even easy to say that I want anything. And in fact, spirituality in the direct path can really make it very legitimate to say, I don't want anything, I'm good, I'm fine. But actually, when there are issues in the world, when there are problems in our personal life, when there's violence or poverty, it's not okay to say, I don't want anything. That's a false spirituality. If we see problems out there, it's our job through this to move into them and see what it is, see what's going on, see where that attention and intelligence, awareness, resources brought into the heart of the problem can change everything. So, yeah, the direct path, brilliant, completely true. And it's revealed within the discomfort, within the confrontation, within the relationships, within the things that make us vulnerable. It's there. Thank you, everyone. Lots of love. Bye. Thank you for listening to Superpowered Mind with me, Claire Diamond. If you want extra support in the exploration of your mind, download our exclusive subliminal recording, especially for podcast listeners, on bit.ly/podcast subliminal.